connect. Talking the talk with Kate and Jim, and walking the walk, just listening. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has a name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jim always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jim always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue and let you stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Perfect Match on this Monday, 28th of October, where it has just broken on Sky Sports News that Ten Hag has been sacked. So he has officially been declared the winner of the sack race 2024-25 season. I think it comes as no surprise, especially after another dismal result for Manchester United at the weekend, which we will obviously look into along with the other games that were played this weekend. I'm joined as always by my co-host Jimbo. Chang is here and AJ is coming along later as a super sub as Nicolas is on holiday. But first of all, Jimbo, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, did Man United lose? I don't know. Did they lose?
Yep, they lost 2-1 to West Ham following a very controversial penalty that wasn't a penalty.
All right, so that's got any sack.
Yeah. But you all good, Jimbo?
I'm excellent, thank you. A bit flued up still, but all right, good.
Good. Mr. Chang, how are you doing, sir? Good to see you.
Thank you very much for having me back on the show. I really do hope that we will have a trouble and disturbance-free, or rather interference-free show today compared to Friday. It's been a good weekend for me, despite the results and despite my interview not getting the green light because of my lack of experience and also my rather youthful appearance, as what the potential interviewer told me. But I'm not going to go into details. All I know is that Ruud van Nistelrooy has been announced as the interim manager who will be standing in for Ten Hag, who has been dismissed. And despite our loss some 22 hours earlier, I'm still fairly positive for Wednesday night because I am going to get into this in further detail later. But in summary, just so this is a teaser and also a taster of what's to come, I would rather have lost yesterday if it means that we have a better chance of winning come Wednesday night. Back to you, Miss Kate.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Before we go into look at the chat, Man United have released a statement saying Erik ten Hag has left his role as Man United men's first team manager. Erik was appointed in April 2022 and led the club to 2 domestic trophies, winning the Carabao Cup in 2023 and the FA Cup in 2024. We are grateful to Erik for everything he has done during his time with us and wish him well for the future. Ruud van Nistelrooy will take charge of the team as interim head coach, supported by the current coaching team, whilst a permanent head coach is recruited. I'm a little bit disappointed. You know, I was enjoying Ten Hag destroying Man United, but look, let's be fair, it was always going to come to an end with the standards at Man U. But before we get into that and everything else that's happened this weekend, let's have a look who's in the chat. We've got Anthony Clark saying, big up Kate and Jimbo, a very good weekend, mopping up all them salty Spursy tears. Boo to you. Indeed, Yusuf, Ten Hag has won another trophy, the sack race. Not the one that anyone wants to win, unfortunately, but there you go. Decaro said, not a good weekend to be a Spurs fan, but it could be worse. You could support Man U. Or, yeah, there's plenty of things that could be worse. It is only a game of football at the end of the day. I saw Ange in a post-match interview shown on Australia Sport. He was fuming. I think we all were. Yeah, I think so. There is a poll running in the chat asking who you think was to blame, whether you think it's mainly the players, mainly the manager, a bit of both, or who cares? Let's just move on to the next game. So make sure you vote in the poll. Didn't watch your game, too busy bricking it for our game against Arsenal, relying on you to fill me in on your performance. Yeah, that'll take about 30 seconds, I think, Yusuf. There's not a lot to say. We do a decent bit of groundwork, then just pass it straight to Palace just over and over again. Yeah. Ten Hag sacked. Big up Design. Hope you're well. Big up Robbie at Lily White Lane. Hope you're good. The intro song is actually AI, so I'd love to take credit, or Jimbo would, but it's AI. Daniel Coys is here. Big up to you. Says what United are actually trying to do is save their season. I think their fans will be quite happy about it while we're standing still watching our club have a worse run in the league in years. Says Daniel Coys. Southgate at United, please let that happen. Sorry about last night. I admit I was a bit salty. Apologies. I think everybody had. Everybody was a bit irate yesterday. Not particularly me. But you know, emotions are high when there's a loss. So I think we all have to take that into account. Chelsea boy saying such a sad day. I think because Ten Hag's been sacked. 65% Angus is in the house. Big up Angus. Shemtan's here. Good afternoon, Princess Kate, Sir Jimbo, the nicest youngest looking old man, Mr. Chang. Hope you're all great today after that disaster of a game. All good here, Shem. And now officially we're the only so-called Big Six club with a manager who's completely struggling, says Daniel Coys. Listen, little bit of an exaggeration, in my opinion. We've got 6 wins in 8. Is he really struggling that much? Come on, let's temper it a little bit. Morning, guys. Ange will be the next Premier Manager to go, says Mario. Lisa's here saying, hi, Kate, Jim and Chang. Nice to see you all. Great intro, Kate and Jimbo. We do like it, I must admit. Big up, Yoris. Good to see you. And yes, Ten Hag has been sacked. Big up, Drew La La says, afternoon, Kate, Jimbo, young Chang and chat. It's not a surprise that Ten Hag's been sacked. No, not at all. I wanted them to keep him because we play United soon. Southgate incoming. Go on, Chang. Sorry.
Oh, no, very quickly. I just need to take a quick moment to thank Miss Andrula for accepting my Facebook request. Miss Andrula, if you're still listening, thank you very much for accepting my Facebook request. And keep the faith in the lads, keep the faith in Big Ange. And we go again on Wednesday night against City.
Exactly that, Chang. Do you think Rouge will be Ollie Part 2? Do you know what? I was thinking about this last night, thinking that I think he'd come in, he'd get a reaction, do well. They'll probably give him a contract, and then I don't think they'll particularly go anywhere. I don't think he's ready for the manager's job yet, but we'll see. Beyond 72 says, Jim looking fresh like he had a mud bath yesterday. But Spursy also means we can follow that up with a win against City. Yes, that is the definition of Spursy, exactly that. Not really surprising. Don't think the manager is the issue at Man United, so I expect more of the same. Yep, completely agree. Big up Nige says, big up Kate, Jim and Chang and all in chat. Much love. What bothers me more about the loss is the lack of intensity, passion and fight to not give up being only 1 goal down. Yep, I agree. Donovan's here. Big up Donovan. Said it would be so Spursy to lose to relegation Palace and beat City in the cup. No consistency from the refs. Van der Ven should have been sent off. Bless you. Is that for the last man? Because it wasn't a clear goal scoring opportunity, Angus. So I don't understand what you mean. Considering our woeful away form, I find it disgraceful that the players think they can just rock up at Palace and win. We need to address how we play away from home ASAP. I completely agree. Big up to you. Nick from the football club says it's a dark day for football. Yes. Ten Hag gone. Who are we going to mock now? I think we should all just take a minute, actually, and just be sad for Ten Hag. I thought he was doing a great job. Big up Paul G, good to see you. Paddy's in the house. Big up Paddy. Says yesterday was inexcusable and has happened too many times this season. We lose Wednesday and Sunday. I fear a lot more will turn on Ange. Nita's in the house saying, hope you're all well. I'm here with a head cold, but managed to bag some free time. Good to see you, Nita. I've got your email. I will reply to it. I'm really sorry. It went to my junk mail. I only found it today, so I will reply. Man United are just rotten from top to bottom. Graham's here. Big up my love. And Daniel Coy saying, I'm struggling to see how Spurs fans can accept 8 losses in 14 games, Kate. 3 away in 11 months. What padded up with 4 of them, so-called 6 wins against the average Europa clubs. I don't understand all of that, but I get it. And yeah, Phil P. Woo! Says, should we replace Eric Ten Hag? Should we replace Ange with Eric Ten Hag? Jim, give your thoughts on Phil P's question.
Not in a million years. I said he'd be sacked, didn't I, before Christmas, and he's gone. Short and sharp answer, not in a million years.
What about you, Cheng?
I mean, this is one of those managerial decisions that, honestly, when I look at the league table and I look at the club above us and also the manager who's managing the club above us, which is Forest, and I look at Nuno Espirito Santo and what he's done for Forest after taking them back, taking over from Steve Cooper, I would honestly I would gladly go for Nuno rather than Eric Ten Hag. That's all I have to say about that.
Wow. Amazing. Joey Barton, I knew he'd be here. As soon as we lose, Joey's always here saying Ten Hag wins trophies. I saw Man United ask Man City if they could get a lift for the Ballon d'Or. Yes, I did see that as well. 8 losses in 14 is pathetic in the Premier League. Ange is pathetic. Our record speaks for itself. Everything's pathetic. It's all pathetic, Jim. It's pathetic. You're pathetic. What do I say, Jim? Is it really that pathetic? Is this the typical Spurs reaction? Just stepping away from Ten Hag for a minute? Is it the Spurs reaction where when we win, you know, no one's gone overboard, but they've sort of been like, oh, yeah, Angie's proving a bit that he can do this, he can do that. But as soon as we lose, he's pathetic, he's a fraud, he's a this, he's a that, he's clueless. What are we doing here, Jimbo? What are we doing here, really?
Well, I mean, I don't know, Kate. Honestly, I don't. I'm just. One week everyone wants him, next week they don't want him. I don't know. Honestly, I don't. Look, what's going to happen is going to happen, and I can't keep banging on about it. I like him, and I want him to stay. And I think if we give him time, he'll do well. You know, we still need obviously some more players. It's not that he's not got the team he wants, is he? Obviously, but I can't even watch YouTube channels because it's just like I can't. It just does my nut.
The sky is falling down.
Well, you put someone on this morning. I asked you to turn it off. I don't know who it was. It don't really matter who it was. It's just because I can call the name with Angel, the names under the sun, and the players and all the names under the sun. They were shit the other day. I'm not gonna say anything else. They were terrible, and but I don't know. They played well. Palace, they closed us down every time we got the ball. There was 3 players on them. The pitch looked small to me as well. I don't know if Palace have got a small pitch.
I don't know, but it looked like it was ripped to shreds.
Yeah,
it looked like the old lane.
Yeah, it did look like the old lane.
It looked like the old lane.
It did, yeah.
But they were honest. We never had room to breathe. They had everyone behind the ball. It was just a horrible game to watch. The players never got into it. They struggled from the beginning. I said to you, I think 20 minutes into the game, Kate, that we're going to lose this game. Was it 20 minutes into the game? I said it to you.
Yeah,
I could just see the way it was going. I could just see the way it was going that it was going to be a loss. I thought it would be. I thought we'd struggle to score once the first 20 minutes started. But look, you know, it's to me, it's not the end of the world, right? We've lost another game, right? We've won 8 out of 6. I think you still give the guy time. I mean, I did say to you, ask me around Christmas time if I want him to stay or not. So I'm going to still say I want him to stay. I think the players really struggled with the way they played against us. I think that was a big thing. Everyone's saying that they never, all right, Vindaloo. Some of them were putting their heart and soul into it. I thought your doggy really tried hard, and I thought Solanke really tried hard, and I just think they all struggled, and it was just a shit game. And for me, the sooner it is put to bed, the better, and move on to City. And I bet we play well against City at home. Bigger pitch, our own place, more room to move. I think we'll play well. But it is depressing. It's horrible to. The main thing with me is I can take a loss, right? I can take 2 losses. I can take 3 losses, right? Because I think that we're still fairly at the beginning of a project. It's only 1 season, and he had a lot to sort out, and 8 games or 9 games in. But it's everybody screaming for him to be kicked out and sack him, and he's clueless and he's a clown. And I mean, it's to me that's what does my nutting. You know, I can understand people criticising. I'm not saying don't criticise, but it's just everybody goes on 1 week they love him, and then the next week they hate him, and it's just like.
Joey, we're not blaming the pitch.
Not blaming the pitch, Joey. All I'm saying,
making an
the pitch
observation.
looks small to me. Maybe Palace made it look small because every time we had the ball or tried to get the ball, right, there was 3 players on them. They were desperate for a win, right, and they showed that. And we couldn't handle the way they played. It was as simple as that. It was just a really bad day at the office. I'm not blaming the pitch, not at all. I'm just saying it seemed like it was a small pitch. But they played well, I think. I think they. I mean, I said to Kate, if we get a draw out of this, we don't deserve it. In the last 15 minutes, I said, if we score, we don't deserve nothing out of this game, and we didn't.
Yeah. Gary Caro says, I'm with Jim. We have ups and downs, but I still think we're heading in the right direction. I'm sick to death of the negativity. I want to support my team here, folks. Listen, for anyone watching, I'm just going to put it out here. We are a fan channel. We're not ones that dissect into anything too. We don't go, obviously the board we speak about, but we're not ones that will heavily criticize the manager and go into meltdowns and have a big debate where we're all arguing and shouting and calling people names, because we all do this because we enjoy it. We do it because it's fun, and we do it because it's a way to talk to people about football, which is what we all love to do. So if you're looking for people that are going to really lay into the club, the board, the manager, we just don't do that here. And that's not to say that people can't have their opinions, but I'm just saying we just look at it that it is football. It's not life and death. And we try and get as much enjoyment out of it as we can. But it was a terrible performance. There's no getting away from it. The worst performance under Ange's tenure, in my opinion. I thought it was horrendously bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's no, to me, calling him clown and names and all that don't do any good anyway. But people are entitled to criticise. I could criticise. I could criticise so easy. You know, I'm not going to criticise Ange because I don't think a lot of that was down to Ange. His subs weren't great, right? I was
Subs were terrible.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised with his subs, but some of the players, they just struggled in the game, and I don't think it was because they wanted to struggle, right? I just think that they were struggling with the way Palace set up. They set up how they set up at the end of last season, and it seemed to show that they that it worked for them. I thought the pitch looked small, you know, and obviously we're a passing team, so that never helped. But look, at the end of the day, I'm going to say that Palace deserved to win that game. They really needed that win, and they really wanted that win, and you could see that.
Yeah, I just said everyone's entitled to their opinion. I didn't say no one's entitled to their opinion at all. I'm just saying.
Who said that?
Daniel Coy said, I've supported my club 30 years, so I'm entitled to opinion.
Of course you are. You're entitled to criticise in your opinion. Of course you are.
What I try and explain is we're not, what's the word? We're not pundits on this channel. We literally support our team and give our opinions. So it's just never that heavy. That's all I was going to say. But Joey comes in with this, Chang. How do we defend our away record?
We don't defend it, Joey. I'm not saying defend it. I'm not saying defend it, but it's how we criticise. You know, and when I see some YouTube channels how they criticise, I can't be a part of that. I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm sitting here thinking we're wonderful, because I'm not. I mean, if I woke up this morning, right? If I woke up this morning and they'd sacked HAG, right, I wouldn't have been surprised. Not at all, because that's like in the last, I think it's 5 weeks, 3 terrible performances.
Jimbo, I'm going to let Chang take this one. What I get what people are saying, our away record is abysmal, but for me, I think we're still early enough in the project to be able to say, let's give him a bit more time. But I mean, I don't know how you feel about it.
So the way I see it, our record, yes, we have not been able to win away against maybe say a top 4 or top 5 team under Big Ange. The last one that I can distinctively remember was that 4-0 away win against Villa last season, before everything just completely fell apart. And I felt that that is where the whole away win hoodoo began. Starting with Romero's suspension or his injuries, and then coupled that with Van der Vaan's, and then somehow or other in between, the whole defense got very mixed up. And if I were Big Ange, I would seriously consider just turning these losses into draws. Don't even talk about trying to win just yet. Just stop the rot. The rot has to stop somewhere, and I feel that that should begin with our away record. Forget about trying to outplay the home team on your own home ground. Let's just shut up shop, learn to park the bus the way some, the way champions do. And if you can nick the odd goal here or there to win it by the scruff of the neck, then so be it. But he has to understand, Big Ange has to drill it, get it into his thick skull that you cannot be playing the same way home and away against different oppositions, but play the exact same way and expect the same outcome. Palace did exactly what I expected them to do, and I think it came as no surprise that we didn't score at all. And if anything, this away form should serve as a stern reminder to all us fans to stay grounded, stay very level-headed. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Don't get into our big heads that we can just easily, trounce any opposition despite our current form. And yeah, I really do hope that Big Ange does freshen up his ideas with regards to playing away, and let this be the last, if possible, the last away loss for the rest of the calendar year.
Yeah, AJ, welcome to the show. Taking on Nick's position today and coming in on Nick's time as well, just turning up. He arrives when he wants. He arrives when he wants. AJ just arrives when he wants. Hope you're well, AJ. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I've got to keep up appearances, haven't I? If I'm representing Nick, I've got to keep it to his high standards.
Well, I don't know if you know, but Ten Hag's been sacked, so we did cover that briefly. But then somehow or another, we got waylaid straight onto Spurs being not great. What's your thoughts on the game? What's your thoughts on the reaction? What's your thoughts on Ange? How are you feeling?
I get it. I get the reaction. I get everybody's reaction. At the end of the day, it comes down to the individual, doesn't it? Some people will still be behind Ange. They'll want him to succeed. They'll want to give him time. Others will say he's had enough time. Too many times now we've seen displays like this that are lackluster. Against Palace, none of them wanted it. None of them were up for it. Pulling out of 50, not even really going in for 50-50 challenges, let alone pulling out of them. It was such a lazy, boring, weak performance. It was terrible. There was absolutely little let's get it right. Palace weren't brilliant. Palace, it wasn't like we can't go, oh, well, Palace were absolutely on their game. They were unbelievable from start. They weren't. They pressed well. They pressed us into making mistake after mistake. I think there was a period of about 20 passes where we tried to pass out from the back, but every time we tried, it got cut out. They came at us. We tried to clear it. They came at us again. It was just a very terrible, sloppy performance, and everybody has to be held accountable for that. The manager, because he stood there again looking uncertain about anything, a far cry from when he made the SAR change at half time. The players just, we seem to do this. One week the players are absolutely bang on it, fighting for every ball, putting in a performance, and we go, they're totally on board, they're behind the manager. Next week, they're pulling out of 50-50s, not really up for it, not showing any fight, any guile. And then we're like, well, is there a problem in the dressing room? It's very up and down. We're the most inconsistent team, I feel, in the Premier League. And you do, I get it. I get the whole Ange out, he's got to go. I get it, because the line has to be drawn somewhere. The problem is, if you then get rid of Ange, we are in the same model of sack a manager, get a new one in, clear out the deadwood, sign the players, not the players he wants. He fails, sack him, and rinse and repeat. And it's just, that's the cycle we're in. So at some point, something's going to have to give, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're either going to have to sack him and get someone in and go, right, this is the guy, and he actually has to be the guy, or we have to trust. And I mean, nobody can. I do hear people going, "Ange will come good. Ange will get it right." We have no way of knowing that. That's fans thinking and wanting that to happen. Also, people going, "Ange will never win anything." I mean, the Premier League alone has been littered with managers that have had a rocky start, have been so close to being sacked, then turned it around and gone on to win Premier Leagues, FA Cups, Champions Leagues, you know? And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but you need to give people time. How much time you give them, that's down to the men upstairs and women, you know, equal opportunities. But that's down to those upstairs to make that decision. We are all just fans who want what's best for our club. We just disagree on how to get there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's one of those situations. It is difficult because I get why people have lost faith in Ange. I do get it. Someone put something. So GBC fan put, we've been shit since Pochettino left, so it's clearly an us issue and not a manager issue. And I get that. But someone else put something that I completely, that similar away record got Poch the sack and he had credit in the bank. What's this manager got? What I would say to that, Daniel, is I never, ever wanted Pochettino sacked. I didn't want him sacked, but are we in a position where, I'm not saying we just stick with the manager because, you know, we've got to stick with him because we keep sacking managers, but I literally can say if we sack Ange, I literally have no clue where we go from here. I just don't know. Conte didn't work. Nuno didn't work. Mourinho didn't work. Pochettino didn't work. Ange won't have worked. That's just a few off the top of my head. I mean, Jimbo, if they do the whole we're going to sack Ange thing, where the hell do we go from here?
Well, it just depends who they bring in. Doesn't mean if they sack Ange, we can't go nowhere. I mean, it just means we have to take a step back again. What's he put? Is there?
See, is there a connection with those that still believe in Levy and those that still believe in Ange? Well, I don't believe in Levy at all anymore, but I do still have some belief in Ange.
It's all down to if they sack Ange, right? It means we just take a step back, but it doesn't have to be 2 step backs or 3 steps back. It might be 1 step back, and we might get a manager that comes in that can work with these players, change the style a little bit, right, and get these players working. And maybe in January and the summer, he can top up because we've got some good players there. You know, maybe this system's too much for them that they can't handle it a few times a week. I don't know, but it doesn't mean like we're going to step back massively if they sack Ange. I mean, but if they sack Ange, they've got to bring the right person in. It's no good like bringing in some of the names that have been thrown out there. I'm not going to name the names, but some of the names that have been thrown out there, it's just ridiculous. So I mean, it's a matter of bringing the right person in. You know, if I'd have woke up this morning and he'd been sacked, I wouldn't have sat here and thought to myself, "Oh my God, I can't believe they've sacked him." Right? I would have been disappointed because I think this guy will do well for us if he's given the right amount of time and the right amount of players he wants in. But at the minute he's on he's on the fence, isn't he? And he could tip either way. You know, a couple more losses. If we lose to City and we lose to Villa, we could be waking up Monday morning and he's sacked. He wins them 2 games and he buys himself like a bit more time. I mean, what you were just shaking your head at what, Kate?
No, I'm nodding my head. I'm not shaking my head. I'm nodding because I agree with everything you've just said.
No, I thought someone read something and you was nodding your head to them. But
no,
look,
to you.
it's just a matter of us as fans. This is why I get frustrated, right, with some of the things that are said, because us as fans, our hands are tied. And it doesn't really matter what we want. You know, what we want doesn't matter. It's what they want at the club, the ones higher up. But I'm going to say this: if they don't pull their finger out and start winning games and pushing us up the league, he will get sacked because it's what Levy wants is to be up the league. And you know, and I've said this 1,000 times on here. I think Levy's done absolutely wonders for this club on the money side of it, and the stadium and the training ground. But on the football side, he's let the fans down. You know, even though he spent a lot of money, he should have took control more and not bought all these crap players that people have suggested to him. I mean, if it was my money and my club, I would be doing my homework on some of the players we've bought. But it's frustrating because our hands are tied. You know, it's not down to us what happens, is it?
Yeah. Benny says, I know where we go from here. We need someone with charisma, style, panache, and the truly unworldly vision of manliness. We need a maverick and a true force of nature. It's obvious. We need Professor Jimbo. I concur. I think Jim would be an absolutely perfect manager for Tottenham.
The thing is what really, really upsets me, right, is when I watch games like yesterday, I don't throw my toys out the pram and I don't start screaming, I want this player out and that player, because it's not me to do that. I want the manager sacked because it will all take its own course in time anyway. But it upsets me when I see players out there and some of them not giving their all. And I'm not going to put the whole team on that because I think some of them out there was trying. And I think especially Solanke, he was all over the place trying to win the ball back, trying to set people up, you know. And I'm not saying he played good, but I'm saying he tried hard. I thought your doggy tried really hard, but it's really, really frustrating when you see some of them. And I'm going to name a name here, which I don't really like doing, but I think Romero is really, really letting this club down lately. I really do. I think that yesterday, the pass he done to Van der Ven was always going to put him in a bit of trouble. And I just think that at the minute, he's letting the club down, especially considering he's a senior player. And I just think he's one that I'm going to name, right? But because for me, he's actually the standout one. I think that's for some reason I don't know what it is with Romero, but he just doesn't look himself to me.
His head's been turned. That's why. But it needs to be dropped. Go on, Chang.
Very quickly, I just need to say something with regards to what Mr. Boxer said earlier with our players and how they were underperforming yesterday. I could be wrong. And this is just purely from what I saw from that first half and also maybe the first half hour of the second half. But the way the players were playing, especially when they were not committed to the challenges, it gives me the impression that they already have one eye on Wednesday night. None of those players want to be ruled out either by injury or suspensions or injuries or whatever. They all have their eye on City. To them, that might as well be their cup final for the season, trying to avenge that narrow 1-0 loss to City.
Chang, I've got to interrupt you there, right? Look, at the end of the day, right, they're professional footballers, right? And they're representing Tottenham Hotspur, right? So every game should be a cup final to them. It shouldn't just be the ones that they want to pick and choose. You know, if we won yesterday, pushed us up the table and pushed us 2 points behind Arsenal. You know, so it should be every game, and it is frustrating to see. It is frustrating.
But then also there is also the perfect example in our club captain Sun Heung-min. If you look at how he performed last Saturday in our early kickoff last Saturday afternoon, where he really performed and he really ran out of his skin, and before you know it, he's injured again. He missed Alkmaar at home, and also he missed yesterday. So that in a way has actually given our own players maybe that added precaution. Not that they shouldn't be giving their all. Yes, I get exactly where you're coming from, whereby our players should just be giving their 100%, their all every match, whether it's domestic cup games, whether it's in Europe, whether it's the bread and butter league. But the impression that I get was that the players were, they were trying to ensure that they have a starting chance, or rather, they have a good chance of starting against City, because a lot of attention from our fans, from the media, from the pundits will be focused on this Wednesday night. And again, this goes back to what I said earlier with regards to how I feel about us, or rather, how I hope that our loss against Palace yesterday would then serve as a timely reminder to the players themselves that even on a good run of form, we aren't guaranteed goals. And Palace showed that. And I really do hope that yesterday would act as that platform, that springboard, so to speak, for our players to step up and come up with different ways to try and break down stubborn defenses. Back to you, Miss Kate.
Yeah, if we beat City 12-0, I'd still want Ange out the door. That's a bit crazy, but there you go. Nita says, I took a reality check and remembered the season we finished 8th. This season was painful watching us, but I don't think it's that bad yet. Come on, you Spurs. Kuva says, it only makes sense to stick with the manager if you believe he's the right man. A lot of us don't believe Ange is.
Yeah,
I know.
but Kuva, it doesn't really matter what we believe.
Yeah.
Because this is what's frustrating. Everything's out of our hands. So we just have to go along with the ride. But I think Ange is actually balancing on the fence at the minute. And it could tip either way. I think the next few weeks are going to be very telling.
AJ, I'm going to come to you with this one. Do you think that Ange underestimated Palace? He started an unproven 17-year-old, a very attacking midfield, and you were away from home. What do you think?
No, I don't think he underestimated them. I don't think that was the case at all. Everyone's been crying out for Mikey Moore to get a chance. I knew this would happen. It always happens. Mikey Moore gets a chance. I think he did all right, actually. I don't think he did badly. He didn't have as much of an effect as the previous game, but, he got his opportunity. People have been crying out for that. And now it's, did Ange make a mistake? Or make your mind up. He either gets a chance or he doesn't. We either play the lad or he sits on the bench. If he sits on the bench, why are you not playing him? If he then plays and he doesn't have the impact, bearing in mind he's 17 years old, he is a child. He doesn't have the impact that people think he should have or what hope he will have. And then it's a case of, Ange has made a mistake there. Well, in that kind of situation, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Let's not do that. Let's not paint him into a corner and be like, come out without your feet getting messy, mate. You can't do that. Just he's in the position that he's in, so let him make his calls. Yeah. If he'd have scored a worldie, people would have been like, "Oh, and great decision." It's hindsight is a wonderful thing. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. I don't think he underestimated the team, but something isn't right there. We know Palace at home are a difficult team, and when they're on it, they can beat anybody. That's been proven year after year. Something isn't right. I think we need to give him time. I think he needs time. Something isn't right somewhere, right? Something isn't right somewhere because one week we're on it, foot to the floor, fighting for every ball. The second ball, the third ball, we're scrapping, we're tenacious, we're rugged. Next week, it looks like none of them got off the coach. Something isn't quite right, but they clearly haven't down tools because if they had, they wouldn't be performing. They wouldn't be turning up in some games and not others. But to be an athlete at the pinnacle of your sport, you have to be performing. You have to be giving it your all week after week, and we're not seeing that. Something somewhere isn't right. It's not. I think Romero has had his head turned. I've said that since before a ball was kicked. I think the end of this season, he's getting sold. I don't think it will be in January, but the end of this season, he will be signed by Real Madrid. He's got his head in the clouds. He knows where he wants to be. And it looks like some games, not all, but it looks like some games he just can't be bothered. He's already thinking about the sun in Spain. You know, his performances of late have not been brilliant. They haven't. And considering he is our standout world class, apparently, defender, it leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah, his performances have been not brilliant. But then people getting on at Solanke, Solanke, £65 million dud. He's still fighting for the team. He is doing more for the team than Romero is. He's chasing down balls. The press we have, the good press, the reason that we're so high in all of the stats when it comes to pressing, in our pressing actions, is because of Solanke and what he brings to the team. His work rate, his endeavour, his tracking back, breaking up play, winning the ball in defence and setting his team on that. Because you don't rate a player, oh, he's rubbish, he's a dud. But Romero, because he's apparently, and I use apparently, I don't think he is anywhere near world class. He gets a buy. Do we not talk about Romero? Do we not highlight the fact that week on week he's making big mistakes, massively overhitting the ball, massively underhitting the ball, committing fouls where there's no need to commit fouls? If you're going to use that rule, if you're going to go with that rule, you have to be fair. You have to go for the whole team and the manager in the same way. But people don't. They pick and choose. If they like a player, if they like a manager, then that player, that manager gets some leeway. If they don't, then it's, oh, you're a dud. We don't want you at our club. Get out. Sometimes he could walk on water and it still would not be enough. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's preference, right? It's your own choice. If you think Ange should be sacked, you don't want him at the club. That's your opinion. You're absolutely entitled to it. You're not wrong. If somebody thinks that Ange should be at the club and we should give him time, you're not wrong. Yeah, that's your opinion. None of us have the answer. If we did, guess what? We'd be winning everything. If there was a magic formula, a secret to unlock, you know, we would be at the top of the league. We'd be winning trophy after trophy after trophy, but we're not, because there isn't. You know, we don't have the financial backing that we should have. Yes, we've spent money, but we haven't spent money in the right places. We haven't spent money in the right way. So why don't we just remember it's a game with fans? We can't change what's going on. So let's just cheer our team on, try to support them the best way possible, whether we agree or disagree. Managers and players come and go. Tottenham Hotspur, the football club, is here to stay, right? That's our club. That's what we support. Yeah? I've seen manager after manager in my lifetime, player after player. But the club remains. The club is who we support. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, agreed. And I agree with this as well. I think if you sack Ange and bring someone else in, is anything really going to change all the while Daniel Levy's pulling the strings? I'm not sure it really is. Go on, Chang.
Okay, this is a cautionary tale I think everyone needs to listen to and understand why sacking a manager or even having a world-class manager sometimes does have its drawbacks or or backfires every now and then. Now, the reason why I said this is because Carlo Ancelotti and his Real Madrid stars, after however many Champions Leagues they have won under him, if you look at the El Clasico that played out over the weekend, I do not think anyone would have expected Madrid to lose so convincingly to Barcelona on their own home ground. With their Ballon d'Or nominees and their potential winners on the team, nobody would have expected Robert Lewandowski to be the one who nearly got the hat-trick in that El Clasico. And to make matters worse, just like us, they failed to score, except, and this is where I have to say, and this is where I have to draw the line when it comes to us comparing managers and players. They've got Mbappe, they've got Endrick, they have that Vinicius Jr. They have so many star-studded players in their team, Real Madrid, and they've won so many Champions League with that same team, and yet they can't even score a goal in El Clasico. If it was at Spurs, if Carlo Ancelotti was with Spurs, and we get done 4-0 at home to them lot down the road at N7, guess what? He will have been gone this very morning. So this is why you should always look. I mean, yes, you all of us are entitled to opinions, and we always looking where the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. But at the same time, we didn't lose badly to Palace. This is yet another one of those losses where we just lose by the odd solitary goal. It's not like we got 5-0, 6-0, 7-0 drubbing, did we? So let's just chalk that loss off. Let's just see what happens come Wednesday night. And then at the end of the calendar year, just before January, when it comes to the half-term report card for Big Ange and the players, then we can draw maybe a better conclusion from what we've seen in the last year and a half under Big Ange. Back to you, Miss Kate.
Yeah, I've got to just say that El Clasico was fantastic. Barcelona, wow, they looked different gravy. I thought they were fantastic. Ben says Romero is in exactly the same place Ange is in the fan base. When he plays well, everyone is screaming that he's the best in the world and everyone else is negative. But when Romero plays badly and costs us game, they blame everyone else but the cause of the issues. I definitely don't do that. I've been a massive Romero critic for a long time, but I get what you're saying. But I think that's
no, it's cost us a few games, Kate.
Yeah, that's Tottenham fans. Oh, excuse me. They tend to go from one extreme to the other. There's not that balance. We're either amazing or we're absolutely crap. Leo, the time change went back an hour on Sunday at 2 a.m. But big up, Leo. But go on, Jimbo. Sorry.
Well, I played right back when I played football, and one of the first things you're taught is when you're being closed down, you don't pass it across the box, right? That was one of the first things I was taught. And Romero, they're getting closed down, and Romero just passes it across the box and puts Van de Ven in trouble. But Van de Ven should have just put it out for a throw. I mean, it's just in them stupid individual errors. I mean, that was just a real schoolboy error.
Jimbo, was it you that's been saying that you don't think Romero suits this system?
I don't think he's got the right brain for it, Katie. I think he's too slow. I think that his thinking's not quick enough. He seems to, when he gets the ball at his feet, he seems to need like 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds to think what he's going to do with it. You know, and this system, you need to have a quick brain, right? It's about quick passing, moving it forward quick. But he seems to diver on the ball. I've said this for a long time to you, that he divers on the ball too long for me. And this isn't a system that suits that. You know, it's quick passing, forward, quick passing. And he doesn't seem to have that. He just divers for me. Sometimes I watch him on the ball and I'm thinking, why are you still holding on to it? There's no one in front of him. There's no one around him, but he's still holding on to the ball. You know, pass it forward. But I mean, I don't think his brain's quick enough for this system. I don't.
AJ, what's your thoughts on that? And also what Ben says here, where he says you shouldn't be playing this open when you're playing away from home. Keep it simple and be hard to beat.
I agree with that.
I think you. I mean, we've seen in recent weeks that he has been making tweaks. I think that's definitely a tweak he needs to make. You can't at home with the crowd screaming, cheering you on, being the 12th. Then yeah, you can understand going full throttle and giving it everything and being open and playing expansive football. But when you're at a ground that everybody knows that Palace is a difficult place to go to, you can't be so open. So yeah, I agree with Ben. Something needs to happen there. Tweaks need to be made to offer some sort of stability in midfield and in defence, because the midfield wasn't strong enough yesterday. Like, it just wasn't. It was very, very weak. Runners weren't being picked up, and time again, the defence was getting got out. You need to be strong in midfield, because it doesn't matter how good your defence is if the midfield are being bypassed time and time again. The defence, the goalkeeper, they're going to give eventually. Like, you can't hold out forever. So, yeah, you need some sort of stability. With Romero, I don't really have an issue with Romero as a defender. We've seen in games he has been incredible. We've seen he's very good at playing with the ball, like getting the ball, passing it out, making runs into midfield, putting those balls through the channels out for Sonny to chase. Like we know how good he can be. I just don't like how people use their bias to judge how, the performance of a footballer. Is Romero the correct defender for this formation, for this setup, this style? I don't know. I think he does slow the game down a hell of a
He
lot.
differs too much, AJ. He differs
he
on the
walks.
ball.
He picks the ball up and he walks with it. Like other
Yeah.
players, they get the ball, they open their body up, they've knocked it on a few yards, they'll pick the ball up, they'll jog on a few more yards, and then they'll play the ball. At least something's happening at a decent sort of tempo, at a decent sort of pace. Romero gets the ball and he'll pass sideways, he'll get the ball back, and then he'll just walk 5 or 10 yards with it. I'm like, what are you doing? If you want to do that, mate, retire and go and be playing. You can find walking football anywhere at like recreation centres. They do that. You can do that. You're meant to be a prime athlete. You're meant to be a apparent world-class defender. What are you doing? If we're meant to play high octane on the front foot, closing down, high pressing football, you've got your centre half who's walking around the pitch with the ball, wanting to play side to side. Like that, it doesn't make sense, does it? If that's the system you're playing, that's the style you're playing, why is your centre half dawdling with the ball? So, I mean, look at me telling Romero, who's a better defender than I'll ever be. Look at me telling him how to play the game. Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, he would be so much better if he played at a higher tempo. If he played, I think he doesn't really play the way our system should dictate he plays. Does that make sense? So I think I do agree with Jim in that sense. He doesn't play at speed. Everything's slowed down. So yeah, maybe I agree with Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I hear you. I've got loads of comments that I've starred.
17.
Done that one. Yeah, done that one. If City's third team pump it midweek, what's the answer then?
Well, first of all, we don't know if they're going to play their third team.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I mean, whoever they put out there is going to be a quality team unless they bring people out we've not heard of. I mean, everyone in their squad, they got a decent squad, didn't they? But I mean, look, that's what I said to you. He's on the fence at the minute, Ange. It could tip either way. I mean, I think the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks is going to be defining for him and our club.
I mean, I'm going to ask all of you this. I'll start with you, Chang. Would you give Ange till the end of the season and just see how it goes now? I mean, I don't think we're going to get relegated. So what would you do?
I would definitely give him the benefit of the remainder of the season to see where we finish at the end of the season. And then we can compare this season's final standings to that of last season, as well as our progression and our advancement in the domestic cup games and also the Europa League, because I feel that this season, with the amount of games that we have, with the amount of reinforcements that we've able to sign in the past 3 windows, I am expecting some form of viable and practical progress on the big bench. But if after shipping all that deadwood, if after having signed the likes of your Solanke and your Oda Beers and also your Lucas Bergvals or Dragushins, and we still aren't going anywhere, then maybe come next summer we can reevaluate our alternatives. If the management, the hierarchy, Daniel Levy, and even us fans too, for that matter, if we feel that he's not up to scratch, then only then we can look at it objectively and say, okay, he's had 2 whole seasons, he's got rid of the deadwood, he's had 4 windows to get his players in, but if it still isn't working, then maybe we should be looking at other alternatives. But until then, I would still give him at the very least to the end of the season, because again, yesterday was just one loss. Yesterday is just one loss, and it's just by a solitary goal, much like any other of our losses this season, whether it's the 1-0 defeat to Woolwich in the North London derby, whether it's losing narrowly to Newcastle or to Brighton. It's just another, odd goal loss. So I'm not going to be panicking. It's not panic stations. I would still like to see what happens and what transpires out from between now to the end of the season. Back to you, Miss Kate.
AJ, what about yourself? Do you give Ange till the end of the season?
Yeah, I would. I'll try to explain why, my logic behind that. And I did say my logic, right? Not the logic. So this isn't the answer. This is what I'm thinking. My personal opinion. Some people do think that when people say that they're talking fact. I'm not. This is guesswork. If Andrew spent the whole of last season, this preseason, and up till now, implementing his style, which is very different to anything we played in the 4 or 5 years previous. If you now sack him or sack him halfway through the season, you're expecting a new manager to come in with exactly the same squad and do better. Play it, bearing in mind these players are now playing the system that Ange has had them playing for a year and a half. You're going to come in and try to play his system better than he does, or you try to undo all the work he's done and implement a new system in half the season, which causes issues in itself, because then your players are unlearning what they've been doing and learning a new system. That could have a worse effect. You could pick up worse results because you're caught in a crossroads with, what am I doing? Where am I going? What's my position? So I think you need to stick with him for the rest of the season. Then that way, it can't be argued. If at the end of the season he has still done nothing, everybody can say he's had 2 full seasons. He hasn't achieved anything like we were expecting, anything like what he said he could deliver. So on your way, thanks for doing a job. Best wishes to you. Best of luck on your future endeavours and all that jazz. And then we get a new manager. I don't think getting a new manager in halfway through the season is the right way to go. I think it will cause and can cause a lot more issues for the players than we're currently going through, because 1 week they're good, 1 week they're not so great. The performances are still there. We're still seeing decent performances in games. So that's just my take on it. I think give him until the end of the season, because other than that, you're looking at a manager coming in and trying to implement his style in half a season, and that's just going to get very messy.
Well, the chances are if we sacked Ange, we'd have Ryan Mason to the end of the season. But I'm of the opinion we need to give him to the end of the season and judge him then. I think we've got to give him a chance, see if he can win something with us. However, if we get the next 5 games and we're getting absolutely battered and the players aren't playing for the manager and it's a disgrace, then I would reevaluate that. But Jimbo, what about you?
Yeah, I don't see. To me, there's no point in sacking him. Might as well just go along with it now and see where we end up. I mean, as you said, we're not going to get relegated. I mean, I've been seeing loads and loads of people in the chat saying we're a top 6 to 8 team. So let's just go along with it and see where we end up. I think that it's just, look, at the end of the day, if he gets sacked, and then I'll just back the next manager. But it's I don't know what to say about it, Kate, really, if you want to know the truth. I'm a bit stumped with it, because it's no good. It's no good playing like a really, really good game like we did against West Ham and going out the next week and playing, bad. It's like, what's the next game? We're going to play brilliant again, then going up against Villa and play crap. We need some consistency there. And but I mean, look, if it was down to me and you're asking me, you're in charge now, you're going to sack him, I would say no. I would give him longer. So but if he gets sacked, he gets sacked. What can we do? We just got to go along with the ride and get behind the next manager, whoever it may be.
I think we need a little bit of stability in the team, and I think sacking Ange is just going to throw up all sorts of issues. However, I don't agree with sticking with him because of that reason. However, I think he needs a bit more time. You've got to remember the club was in disarray when he came in. It
Massively.
is only one season and 9 games. It is still early days. People want instant success, and I think he deserves to be given the rest of the season. But I know a lot of people don't, and that's fine too. I mean, I can't answer that vividly. I just can't answer who I'd take.
But you know, I mean, some people have written in the chat, which is a good point. We've lost, what is it, 14 out of 37?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that is not good enough, you know. But is it because it's early days and he hasn't been here long enough? Is it because we haven't got all the players we want? I don't know. But that definitely isn't good enough. I mean, I don't want to see us lose 14 out of 37. But it's because I've been a Spurs fan a long time, you know, and this is the way our club seems to have gone for the last, I don't know how many years. So maybe I'm a bit immune to it and I just go along with the ride, you know, enjoy it when we win and don't let it affect me when we lose. I mean, I never used to be able to eat when a game finished and we lost. I couldn't eat for hours. But yesterday,
we can see that that's not true anymore, Jimbo.
As soon as we finished yesterday, I was fucking screaming for my dinner. So maybe it's because I'm a bit older and I've seen a lot of it over the years that I'm more immune to it. But I mean, when I was younger, I used to go into a depression when we lost. I just don't do it anymore. I don't let it affect me like some people. It affects some people. I just get on with my life.
The thing is, I don't really understand the point of getting really uptight about it because we can't change it. So it's just a waste of energy, in my opinion.
Did you see what Joey just put?
Yeah, Graham Potter being lined up for the next Spurs manager. But then Joey did say that Romero was 100% going in the summer and he didn't go. And now he's saying he's going next summer. So he's kind of covering his back there, Joey. I'm not sure if I believe you. Can anyone really see us getting any result in the next 3 games? I can see us beating Man City because I think that is just Spursy to lose to Palace and beat City. I think we can get a draw with Villa at home, and I think Galatasaray away. I've no idea. That's going to be a savage match. I mean, AJ, what's your thoughts on the next 3 games?
It totally depends on what team turns up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if they turn up and they want to put a shift in, I think we can give them all a game. And I fancy us if we get consistent performances from the team that we've seen this season that want to fight for every ball and are playing at 100%. I can see us beating City, beating Villa, and drawing against Galatasaray. I think Galatasaray will probably be the most difficult match of the 3. I think it's going to be a severely weakened team from City, and Villa haven't looked brilliant. Villa they haven't been nowhere near as bad as us, but they've had their ups and downs. You know, from game on game, they look really good, and then they look like, you know, some of them have forgotten how to kick a ball. So, I would hope they get their act together. But we do seem to be saying this a lot. Let's hope that that's the last. You know, that's the last mess up. That's the last cock up, and that they focus, they knuckle down, they get on with the game. And there's something isn't right somewhere, because you wouldn't get such a drastic shift in performances, would you? If everything was hunky dory, you'd at least see a baseline of 75-80% each game. If everything was crap and they down their tools, you'd see them every game just not be bothered, not playing for the manager, because, you know, if he gets sacked, we don't care. But it's just so up and down all the time. But yeah, let's see what these 3 games bring.
Yeah, exactly that. Look, the scores on the doors this week for the predictions. In 4th place this week was Mr. Big Time Nicholas. He only got 4 points. So
Nicky terrible.
He ended up with 4 points. Jimbo was third with 6 points. Mr. Chang was second with 7, and me got 8 this week and actually won. I can't believe it. The decisive game for me was the fact I backed 2-2 in the Arsenal-Liverpool match yesterday. So I screamed the house down when Liverpool scored, which means the scores.
I demand a recount.
The scores on the doors are: in fourth place, Jimbo with 48. In third place, me with 59. In second place, Nick with 63. And back in first place with 3 points advantage is Chang with 66. So Nick,
well done, the Chang man.
Yeah, Nick giving it large. Oh, I'm top of the league. Ooh. Is now second. So the football gods were obviously listening and took a big fat dump on Nick's head.
Can I just say quickly, Kate, that when I told Nick that, the 2 times I subbed for him and he won, that I was a good luck charm and it was a team effort, he told me that no, it was all him. So I said, okay, mate, it's all you. You have a crack at it this week. And what's happened?
Exactly.
I'm coming in, nothing to do with me. And, he's fallen to second place. So, eat it.
Exactly that. I've just ended the poll in the chat. Who was to blame for Sunday's defeat? 41% said a bit of both. 36% said mainly the players. 12% said who cares, on to City next. And 9% said mainly Postecoglou. And that makes me smile because a lot of people were blaming it all on Ange. And I think the players are the primarily the ones that need to take the blame for yesterday because they were all absolutely crap. And although I think Ange got it tactically wrong at times, I think his subs were questionable. I do think the majority of the blame has to go on the players. But there was another sort of medium-sized game yesterday. It was sort of 2 average teams, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Do you know what, Kate? I just want to say that actually Timo yesterday put some really good balls into the box.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he did.
He did, Kate.
No, he did.
He put 3 or 4 really good balls into the box, which we never took advantage of. I just wanted to put that out there.
What a sad state of affairs when the only player we're praising is Timo Werner.
If only those crosses by Werner were looking for Solanke and not Richarlison, maybe the outcome would have been different.
Yeah, I agree. And yes, please do like and subscribe. I never ever ask. I always forget, but please do because it does help the channel. And it'd be very nice of you if you were to do so. But yes, Arsenal-Liverpool yesterday. Thought Saka played a blinder yesterday, but they couldn't hold on to a lead. They went 1-0 up. They went 2-1 up, but Arsenal gave it 2-2 in the end. Chang, what did you make of the game? I don't know if you saw it.
I only saw bits and pieces of it this morning in the highlights because immediately after our match, I was just too disheartened, and I was just so bummed out that I couldn't be bothered with that match. So, from what I saw anyway, I think they were good for their lead, but again, Mo Salah being Mo Salah, and you could see why he is a Premier League and Champions League winner with Liverpool. And yesterday, his late equalizer proved as much that if there's anyone who would be able to get anything out that match yesterday, it will be down to him. And for Arsenal, I think it's still a good point for them. Don't get me wrong, especially against a team who are neck and neck with them for the title this season. But it was entertainment all around. And if anything, I actually thought I really, really did think before the fixtures on Sunday had kicked off that if this is all ifs, buts, and you know what's nuts. But if only we had done what we did last Saturday, we could have closed the gap on them, and the shock finish above them lot would have been on the cards. But sadly, that's not the way how it went. So good for both of those teams. And if anything, I think the biggest winners of the weekend are actually City and maybe even Chelsea, seeing as how they
defeated Newcastle. But yeah, it was good entertainment, and it's good for the rest of the league who are trying to catch up to them and try and finish in that top 4.
There is some breaking news. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under consideration for a return to Manchester United. It is unclear. Honestly, it is unclear if United view him as a serious long-term option or a backroom staff member.
Ollie's at the wheel.
Ollie's at the wheel, yeah. Oh my goodness, wow. AJ, did you watch Arsenal versus Liverpool yesterday?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of it?
I thought Arsenal, for the most part, for about 70 minutes of the game, I thought Arsenal were very, very good. Very, very good. They good call by Arteta having Partey as the right back. I think Partey is massively overrated as a midfielder. He actually doesn't do much, right? I think he's heavily overrated, and if he played for any other team, Arsenal fans would think he was rubbish. But yesterday, he was excellent. Like, he really was. For both teams, the 4 fullbacks on the pitch, he was the best. He was the best. He put in such a good shift. Saka was brilliant. Saka was very, very good. Rice turned up. Problem with Arsenal is I don't know whether it's a new thing, whether they take their foot off the gas and they think we're a goal ahead, we can shut up shop now, because they noticeably took their foot off the gas. And you cannot give Liverpool that sort of invitation, because they will score, right? They've got too many good players. And I think Arsenal could have put that game to bed. Right? This is without Odegaard. This is without their best defender. They could have put that game to bed. They could have tied that up and won that. But is it complacency? Is it tactical? Is it planned from the manager? I don't know. But they had that game there to be won. They were in pole position twice, and they let it slip. But for the most part, they performed very, very well.
Yeah. I mean, and I do think there was a very strong call for a penalty for Arsenal, but obviously they didn't get it. Jimbo, we watched the game. What did you make? I didn't find it the most thrilling game. I'm not going to lie, I didn't. But whether that's because I was in such a crap mood after watching that diabolical Spurs game, I don't know. But Jimbo, what did you make of it?
Hang on. Let me just bring this up. Good night and thank you.
Big up, Dave Caro. Sleep well.
I thought Arsenal were really good in the first half, and then when they went 2-0, they sat back, and then 2-0, 2-1, they sat back. And it took it to go 2-2 for them to start pushing again. And then when it went 2-2, I thought they looked more likely to score. This is what I understand with Arsenal. Why they take their foot off the pedal? You know, to me, it's not a good tactic. I don't know if they mean to do it or if he's telling them to do it, but they did. They took their foot off the pedal, and they looked the better team on the day. But as AJ just said, if you're going to sit back with Liverpool, right, they're going to score. They got too many good players, and the move they did to score the equaliser was fantastic. It was really good football. But I just think if Arsenal would have kept pressing, I think they would have won that game. But look, at the end of the day, Liverpool are absolutely flying, and they got a 2-2 draw out of it. I think if I'd have been an Arsenal fan and I'd walked away with 2-2, I think I would have accepted that.
I'm not sure they would, though, because it was at the Emirates. And to be fair, Arsenal played better than Liverpool. I thought Rice was exceptional yesterday. Set pieces were fantastic. I don't know if they would be happy with a draw. I'm not sure. Let us know, Gooners, if you.
Well, I mean, on the day, if I'd have been an Arsenal fan on the day, right, watching that game, I would have been a bit gutted. But they took their foot off the pedal, and they didn't need to, because they did look the better team. I mean, the first half, I thought they looked head and shoulders above Liverpool. But I mean, I mean, well, I don't know if it's the players or the manager or it's a bit of both. But I mean, they've proved, didn't they? That's the same team that's been going for the last couple of years. So they've proved that when they do push and they push, how close they get to winning the title. But I think the way they're playing at the minute, I don't think they can win the title, and unless they keep going for it. I mean, it's not like they've got a bad defence, is it? And they can push forward because their defence is good. So why they sit back, I don't know. It's a strange one for me.
Big ups to Raider. Good to see you, my lovely. I don't think I agree with this, Matt. The one thing we learned on that game is that Liverpool aren't all that. I don't agree with that. I don't think they were at their best, but I think that's really naive to say they're not all that because they've played some exceptional football this year already. So I think that's a bit of copium. Yeah. Yes, AJ.
Can I just quickly say something to my dear friend Angus? I see that. I think I didn't know he was referring to me, but he mentioned the fact that I was waffling. Bearing in mind that most of what I was saying was how good Arsenal were. So if an Arsenal fan thinks I'm waffling about Arsenal when I'm saying that they're very good, they were, the players performed well, the manager had, he made the right choices. What does that say? But I personally don't think Partey is a very good. If you were to name the top 30 midfielders in the world, Partey wouldn't get in there. He wouldn't. If you name the best 40, he wouldn't get in there. He's a good, decent Premier League footballer. But I think playing out of position as a right back, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was the best full back on the. So I praised the player highly for playing out of position and being the best fullback on the pitch, but I don't rate him as a midfielder personally, and that's waffle. But you wanted to bypass the bit where I'd said that your manager made good decisions, the players were up for it, and Arsenal should have won the game. Okay, next.
AJ, you're saying it about Matt, and Matt's put it wasn't him that said it.
No, he said it about Angus.
Angus, not Matt.
Oh, sorry.
No, not Matt. Angus.
But that was a bit of a silly statement by Matt because he's saying that it shows they ain't all that, but you only drew with them 2-2 at home. So
yeah, exactly.
You can't have it both ways.
Look, I'm not going down this road of trying to debate whether Arsenal get treated differently by refs because that's a load of bollocks, in my opinion.
That's monetisation gone out the window.
Well, no, it's fine. I didn't say anything too bad. It's decisions go against teams and for teams every single week, and it evens itself out most of the time. So I would say maybe they weren't right, but get over it. I would say Partey is essential to the way Arsenal play football. He's the ball carrier and the muscle. One of the most surprising results of the weekend is that Man City only managed to beat Southampton by 1-0. Now, I haven't watched any highlights or anything, but what was you saying?
And Southampton, I saw quite a bit of the game. For me, it should have been a draw.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. Southampton right at the death at the crossbar, and they should have scored. It's as simple as that. He should have scored, but he hit the crossbar. So that was right at the death and all. So for me, it should have been a draw. They were lucky to get away with that. But look, at the end of the day, you ain't going to win this title if you don't have a bit of luck. It's as simple as that.
I mean, you had 5-0, me and Chang had 3-0, Nick had 2-0. I mean, I thought when that goal went in reasonably early, I thought this is going to be a cricket score here. But Haaland in the player ratings actually only got 5 out of 10.
Well, I think he was lucky to get 5, Kate. They probably only give him 5 because he scored the goal. But
yeah, so Southampton obviously did well to keep it at just 1-0. So big up to Southampton because I thought they were going to get an absolute trouncing. This is what's so annoying about us dropping points. Villa dropped points, ended up 1-1. Brighton dropped points, ended up 2-2. I mean, Chang, this is the history of Spurs, surely, where every time we get a chance to close in on other teams, we mess it up.
This is what I said earlier about the Villa draw, the Woolwich and Liverpool draw. I mean, you just look at Forest. under Nuno Espirito Santo. They have played away at Stamford Bridge. They've come away with a draw there. They played away at Anfield. Very surprisingly, they came away with a win against Liverpool. And the early kickoff on Saturday, I'm not sure if any one of us predicted that Forest would have been able
No.
to. Yep,
No, we
exactly. Exactly. And who was managing Leicester when Forest played against them? It's their old manager. So again, this is where this I honestly wanted to make a comparison between Nuno Espirito Santo and how Forest are doing now compared to say how we are doing, because then this just proves that when a manager is given time and when the board back him, when the players are all in sync with his vision, then things happen. So again, for not just only us, actually, it's all the teams in the league for that matter, regardless of whether you are title contenders, if you are just mid-table fodder, or if you are relegation candidates. There is very, very fine margins in pretty much every game. You need only look at the City and Newcastle draw. Honestly, no one thought that City would have drawn at home, but they did. And the last few matches, they were scraping out narrow victories too, for that matter. The same also can be said to say a certain team down in N7 who very surprisingly lost 2-0 to the Cherries last weekend. Before that game, pretty much all the YouTubers, the AFTV YouTubers were looking at maybe trying to emulate the unbeatable Invincibles this season, even before a ball had been kicked against Bournemouth, and that fell flat on their faces. So again, nothing can be taken for granted. Even if we had just only come away with, let's say this does happen. Let's say we had beaten Woolwich on their ground last weekend instead of beating West Ham at our home ground. And then straight after that, yesterday, we then lose another London derby in similar fashion. So again, fine margins. And I know there's very little room for error, and I really, really do hope that Big Ange is the first to learn this the hard way, rather than getting sacked and then further down the line, or rather down over the years, then you see him coming back to the Premiership, and then he takes another team above us the way Nuno Espirito Santo has done with Forest. So again, you would like to take this opportunity to urge all Spurs fans, be patient, trust in the process and trust in Big Ange, and at the very least, give him the benefit of the end of the season before you pass your judgments and before you start calling for his head.
It's a very unforgiving league, Kate.
Hang on one second, Jim. Yes, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Mark. But go on, Jim. Sorry.
Yeah, it's an unforgiving league. You know, you've got to be on it every game in this league, and if you're not going to win games. You know, I mean, if you can look even down the bottom, Wolves, Palace, who beat us, Southampton lost 1-0 to City. You can lose to any of these teams. It's just a fact, you know, that any team can lose to them on their day. You know, as we've seen with teams like Liverpool losing to Forest, Arsenal losing to Bournemouth. It's an unforgiving league, and if you're not on it, you ain't going to win games. You've got to be on it every game.
Yeah.
Just another example. Sorry, very quickly. Another example. Does anyone remember the game between Wolves and City? Wolves and City that very nearly ended up a draw, even though it was top of the league and bottom of the league, which is why I'm talking about fine margins.
Yeah, exactly that. The other game, obviously, I was going to touch on is West Ham 2, Man United 1. A very controversial penalty, which I don't think was a penalty in a million years, at the end of the game to give West Ham the lead and probably put that final nail in Ten Hag's coffin, because he's been sacked this morning. I mean, AJ, did you see the penalty that West Ham got?
I didn't see the match. I know nothing about it. But let's be honest. they must have already decided to pull the trigger on Ten Hag, because to have everything in place to bin him off this morning, I think they'd already made up their mind and they were just waiting. You know, they were waiting one more bad result. I don't see who's going to go in and do a job there. I really don't. Like, none of their players are stand out. Like, how many of their players would walk into another top 10 Premier League team? I can't think of many of them. But are there any? Like, so they're up Craps Creek without a paddle. I'm trying not to get you demonetized. I mean, I haven't heard anyone else swear yet.
Yeah, I've sworn, so you can swear.
Oh, go on, Kate. Usually it's Jim that lets the side down, isn't it?
No, it's me today.
Oh, boom. But yeah, no, I haven't seen the penalty call, but you know, he was, let's be honest, it's not out of the blue. He was on borrowed time anyway. It was going to happen. So, are you saying it wasn't? Are you saying it wasn't a penalty?
It never was a penalty in a million years. It was outrageous.
Oh, can you describe it to me? Can anybody describe to me something that happened?
Well, if you go on Twitter and put it in, you'll see it. You'll see what actually happened. But look, I've just been reading about the whole Ten Hag sacking. Favourite to take over is, I don't know how to say his name, Amarim. Is that how you say it? Someone was talking about him in chat the other day. So they're not looking at Ruud as a long-term solution. But then, as I said at the start of the show, if he comes in, Ruben Amorim, if he comes in, Ruud van Nistelrooy, and changes the club around, they might do an Ollie and just keep him there. You know, I don't know. But either way, he is the first manager to be sacked. I really hope Gareth Southgate gets the job, as so does, I think, everyone that isn't a Manchester United fan, because that would be absolutely hilarious. The question is, who gets sacked next? I think Eddie Howe could be on borrowed time after Newcastle dropped points again, albeit to a decent Chelsea team. I think the Newcastle board would be expecting him to be doing better than he is. I think Ange has got to be included into who could potentially be sacked next. I mean, I'm just looking at the teams, but I would have said Sean Dyche, but he seems to be turning it around. Yeah, for me, I mean, Palace have got their win now. I think Ange and Eddie Howe could be the next couple of managers that could be sacked. I don't know if you agree with that, Chang, or if there's anyone else.
I think of all the managers, the next manager anyway, after Ten Hag, we could potentially be looking at, say, either one of the Wolves manager or even a Palace manager, assuming they can't get out of the relegation spots come Christmas. But other than that, I think the likes of your Unai Emery's, even Arteta too, for that matter, they are pretty much safe. So maybe it's just one of those mid-table clubs, or even one of those clubs that are relegation candidates. Even West Ham themselves, they are looking. I know they just only lost badly to us last weekend, the early kickoff, but that win yesterday over United has given their manager room to breathe. And I think, again, this is fine margins as well. Very fine margins when it comes down to who gets the sacking and who gets to stay. Again, if it would really take a monumental collapse for any team to have their manager fired, but unfortunately for Ten Hag, the writing was on the wall, as what Mr. AJ mentioned earlier. But yeah, apart from Ten Hag, I can't really see anyone else facing a sack anytime soon, Miss Kate.
Can I just say, Kate?
Yeah, let me just say, AJ, I have sent you the video of the penalty so you can see it. Yeah, go on, Jimbo.
Well, I just watched the highlights, and then Man United missed a hatful of chances and an open goal, right?
Yep.
But I actually thought it was a penalty.
No,
he didn't go and get nowhere near the ball, and he ran straight into the guy's legs. So for me,
it was so soft.
For me, it was. Well, I thought it was a penalty. I did. I just watched it.
Did you watch it on your phone?
Yeah.
I think if you watch it on the big screen, you'll realise that it wasn't, because it's so blatantly not a penalty in my opinion.
I mean,
But
on
anyway,
my phone, it looked like a penalty.
yeah.
But I mean, at
Maybe
the end of the day, look, let's just say that if they'd have put their chances away, United, they would have won by 2 or 3 goals. Missed an open goal. He chipped
Well,
the
Terry-
keeper. He chipped the keeper and had the goal at his mercy and booted it over the bar.
after the first half an hour, Terry said they should be 4 or 5-0 up. So
Yeah.
But yeah, Jimbo, you might have seen it from a different angle. Yeah, I agree. But this is what I mean. There's been so many bad decisions for, against it. I think it does even itself out, but it does make me question what the real point of VAR is, because we're still in the same position that we were in before.
Can I just add to that, Kate? That
Yeah.
I don't really give a crap either way because I don't like either team. That's why I never watched it.
Phil P asked this question earlier, and I forgot to ask: should Ange be sacked? Should we sack Ange based on social media? Basically,
No.
In other words, if you listen to everyone on social media, he should be sacked. But then the next one will come in, and they might be sacked after a week. This is why I hate social media.
I just watched that clip you sent me, and he didn't even touch him.
No, exactly.
Like he didn't even. There was no like, oh, I didn't touch him, and he's nicked him. So like he doesn't even touch him. If anything, I think he does. There's contact between him and his teammate.
Yeah.
But with that question, was that Phil P that said that? Was it? Yeah. We've seen with the man who honestly would have said the game City versus Southampton that City would have only won it 1-0. We all thought that Southampton were cannon fodder, right? That they were going to get shredded. This is why I try to keep a level head about football, because a team like City, all things being equal, right? A team like City should not be only beating Southampton 1-0. Look how Southampton have been playing. They've been poor. City are the best team in the country, possibly in club football, and they only beat a very poor Southampton team 1-0.
They played well.
The game isn't played on. Yeah. But no, I get that. But my point is, on paper, Southampton shouldn't and don't have a hope in hell. But football isn't played on paper.
Yeah.
It's athletes on the pitch, and on any given day, anybody is capable of beating anyone. But certain people will only have you believe that it's Tottenham Hotspur that are the team that only get beaten or scrape it over the line against these smaller teams. It's only Tottenham that have the bad results. It's only Tottenham that have the upsets. But it's not. It's football. Throughout the ages, since the dawn of time, when the dinosaurs that don't exist, Jim, were kicking footballs around. But you have upsets, right? The Premier League, the smaller teams beat the bigger. You get cup upsets in the FA Cup. That your giant killings. It happens. Yeah. So let's not make out that it's exclusive only to Tottenham Hotspur, because that is false. That is lying. Yeah. Let's just hope that we move on from here in a positive way.
I fancy, Kate, that there's a bit of conspiracy going on.
Oh, I hope so. She's your wife.
I fancy Van Nistelrooy. I fancy Van Nistelrooy bunged the ref at half time and said, "Give a penalty against us so I can have the job."
Maybe. Jim, Anthony said, you think that Ange will put out full strength 11 against Man City in the cup?
Well, I think I think this last game, Anthony, has kind of put him backed him into a corner, right? I think maybe if we'd have won this game comfortably against Palace, I think that he might have put a makeshift team out there. But I think this has kind of backed him in a corner where he needs to redeem himself and the players. So I think he will play a strong team. Yeah, I think that he hasn't really got a choice but to try and get a result out of this game.
I mean, for me, I hope he plays our strongest 11, but I don't think he will. What about you, Chang?
I really do hope so, because otherwise then that loss to Palace would have been for naught, and everything that has been leading up to this Wednesday night would be counterproductive in every sense when you look at how we just only narrowly scraped past Coventry City the last time we were in this this competition. And yeah, I don't see any other way why he shouldn't be playing his best team, because you must remember it's a Wednesday night, not a Thursday night. So there is absolutely no reason to believe why we shouldn't be putting out our best team at home to boot. And if we can, get this, I'll just pretend I didn't see that. Because it's actually messed with my train of thought now, and I've completely derailed my own counter argument. But yeah, play your best team against what is potentially going to be our cup final, or rather the highlight anyway for the rest of the calendar year, because I don't think we are going to ever get a better chance to actually get one over City at our home ground this calendar year. So if we do beat them, let Wednesday night be that night. And in order to do that, you need your best team.
I mean, we did it the post against Palace, but then you got to look at it that the week before we hit the post, it hit the other post and went in. So it swings and roundabouts. We hit the post against Palace.
Yeah,
but, you can't
obviously,
complain. The week before we had a bit of luck where it hit both posts and went in.
Wednesday night is the night before Halloween, so let's hope it's not a horror show. But I mean, AJ, what do you think? Do you think Ange puts not our strongest, but a strong team out against City?
I would hope he would, but he's not going to, is he? Let's be honest. The two things that annoy me most about Ange are his lack of movement or any sort of interaction with anybody on the touchline during matches. He stands very, very still. And how many changes he makes from cup game to Premier League, which we're not playing enough cup games consecutively in a short space of time for the players to build up any sort of consistency. So you need to go with your stronger team with 2 or 3 changes each time. Yeah, the players need to be ready to go, and he's just making far too many changes. It's like the Europa League was an almost, I think it was a completely different 11.
Yeah,
was it completely different?
Yeah,
you can't make those sorts of changes. You need to bring these players in and get them up to speed and get them understanding their teammates. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a situation where you need to bring players on and no one's going to know what anyone's doing. I just think it's too much. He's making far, far, far too many changes. I think we need to go against City on Wednesday. We need to go with exactly the same team that started. I think Mikey Moore deserves another shout. I think he's been very, very good. He deserves another opportunity. And all of the players on the pitch and the manager need to redeem themselves with a decent performance against City.
Yeah, for me, I mean,
there's Louis Sahar's on the TV giving an interview. He still looks fit as a fiddle. Looks like he could go out and play.
Bloody hell, maybe we should bring him back. I don't think Ange puts out that sort of strong team. I don't think Mikey Moore gets anywhere near the starting 11 because he's played 2 matches in close succession. I think Werner comes back into the game, which will open up that can of worms where everyone gets on Ange's back. I think the lights, maybe Bergvall sees a start. I think I'm not sure he'll even play Romero and Van der Ven. I'm not sure. I just expect there to be a minimum of 6 changes, maybe more. But I'm with whoever just said it, and I apologise because I can't remember who said it, where I couldn't care less about the league. For me, I'd rather just go all out. This El Dente, just go all out in the cups and just win a trophy and sod the league, because we're not going to get relegated. We ain't going to win it. If we were lucky enough to win the Europa League, that gets us into Champions League. We might be able to nick a cup. You never know. It's happened before. Like small clubs have nicked cups plenty of times. So why can't a club like Spurs? So I would just go all out for the cups. But I don't think that's what will happen. But we will do a match preview either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not sure yet. I've scheduled it for tomorrow, but it might be Wednesday. I haven't decided. I've got physio Wednesday morning, so I might do it Wednesday. There was a couple more
physio
questions.
Wednesday morning. You might do a stream.
Yeah, because it's 9:30.
Oh, right.
Do you believe the fan base being so divided doesn't help the club succeed? That's a good question, but I did exactly the same look as you just did, Jim, when I read it. I think the fan base being divided is horrible, but to me, it makes absolutely no difference to what goes on the pitch. I don't know what you think, Jimbo.
No, I don't think it does. I think that it's just not nice for the fan base to be so divided. But I mean, you can't stop it, can you? And a lot of people think it's just Spurs fans. It's not. When Arsenal lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, I saw on one of the streams that there was a lot of I think it was We Are Arsenal for Arsenal football team.
AFTV.
That's it, that one, yeah. I stuck that on because they lost, because it always cheers me up. And I saw so many Arsenal fans saying that Arteta had his day and they need to get someone in better. And so I think it's just most clubs, you know. City, you probably don't get it because they very rarely lose. But most clubs, you've got the fan base is divided one way or the other. I think it's mainly a lot of older fans like me as well, just go along with it and think that it's going to change and keep the manager. But a lot of the younger ones, because they haven't seen success and that, want him gone, which I'm not saying is wrong, because if you support a club, you want success. That's what it's all about, getting trophies and that. But where I've seen a lot of trophies and I've seen what's happened to the club over the last few years, I'm kind of immune to it, I suppose. But the younger fans, like Ben, let's say, for instance, he hasn't seen success and he wants to see success, and which is understandable. So I think that most fan bases are divided one way or the other, Kate, if your team's not kicking backside like City.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I agree. I think there's still a huge portion of Arsenal fans. Obviously, you've got the likes of Lee Gunner that we all know, but there's a huge portion of Arsenal fans that are still Arteta out. There's still a huge portion that are Arteta doubt, and are kind
I think
of like,
Angus is, I think Angus doesn't.
well, yeah, I think a lot more fans now are of the view that if he doesn't win anything this year, he's got to go.
I think it's Angus. Let me know if I'm right, Angus. There's one of the Arsenal fans in here doesn't like Arteta.
I mean, I just personally think that the way I've always supported my team, long before social media, long before YouTube, is they're a hobby. I enjoy watching them, and they're a little bit of escapism, and sometimes they really give me the ump and piss me off. In fact, every season they manage to do it. But I'm not going to cry and scream and moan about this, that, and the other, because for me, I can't change it. If I suddenly go to the ground every single week and say, Levy out, is it going to make any difference? No.
And also, it's very tiring, Kate. It's very draining.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I couldn't literally do it because of my health. But my point is, I don't think you should stress about things you can't change. And
exactly that.
Me, like pretty much, I would think everyone in this chat, everyone on this panel have got loads of stress in their life, things that you've got to worry about, issues to deal with. Why add to it by being so passionately negative about your own team? It's just not something I choose to do.
That's exactly.
Go on,
sorry.
AJ.
No, I was just going to say that's exactly the way I approach life. If I cannot physically alter or change something in that instant, I don't stress about it. If it's outside of my control, if I can't have any effect on it, I don't stress about it. What will be, will be. You might not like it, but by letting it consume you, it's gonna damage your health. Stress is so damaging to your health. It affects you physically, it affects you mentally. And for what? For things you can't have. As a divided fan base, I don't like that, right? Well, ultimately, we want our team, whatever team you support, whether you're a Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham, Man United, Tottenham fan, it doesn't matter, right? You want your team to succeed. You want your team to be victorious, to win trophies, to be the best team out there, right? That's what you want. But there are different ways of doing that. I don't like this whole. Are you Ange in or are you Ange out? Are you Levy in or Levy out? Are you Romero in or? But at the end of the day, as I was saying earlier, we are fans of our football club. The players, when they're all dead and buried, guess what? The club is still here. When the managers are gone and they're elsewhere, the club is still here. The club was here before them. It will be here after them. We support our club. We want what's best for the club. So this tribalism of, oh, you think the manager's good, you're a tosser. You think the manager should be sacked, you're a wanker. Like, why? At the end of the day, it's your preference. It's what you think. Yeah, it's what you feel. But ultimately, we want success. So back your club, support your team, cheer them on. If they don't succeed, if they don't win and they let you down, yes, be moody in the moment, be pissed off, be like, oh, for God's sake, fucking lost again, jitters. Right? I'm getting in my swearing quota now because you said it was all right. But
I mean, Vindaloo's got Vindaloo has it spot on. Let me bring it up. Right? Yeah, it's tough being a fan, and it is.
Yeah, it is.
No matter what club you support,
It
you
is.
know?
It is tough.
exactly.
And it's
But
hard
it
sometimes.
needs to just be that.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to not be reactionary. That's why we try not to come up
Oh,
straight on after a defeat. Because, I mean,
but
even say,
reactionary. Okay, reactionary's fine, yeah. But reacting in the heat of, oh, we should have fucking won that match. Like being reactionary is fine because you're reacting to something that you love, you care about, you have an interest in. Being reactionary 24, 48 hours, 72 hours after is not reactionary. That's just having an agenda and spitting a narrative and your rubbish rhetoric everywhere. Yeah, let's be reactionary in the moment. Let's react to what we've seen and what we've experienced. Let's not keep it going for 2, 3, 4 days afterwards.
yeah, exactly. Big up, Mark CFC. Lovely to see you. Have a good day at work. I was just going to say exactly that, really. We're not into shouting and calling people idiots or whatever your opinion is, it's fine. And I totally understand why people want Ange out. I totally understand the frustration. I get it. I can't. I haven't got the energy to shout for a manager's head just yet. We'll see a little bit longer and see what happens. But that's why I always try and say, if you want that sort of chat where we're going to start slagging people off and it's going to be shouting, we just choose not to do it here because it's just not a bit of us.
It's too draining for me. It drains. It's too draining.
Exactly.
But what does it achieve?
The Ballon d'Or is later on today, so I might as well finish on this for me. Wow, breaking news. Vinicius Junior's entourage believes he will not win the Ballon d'Or. For me, he will win it, in my opinion, but you've got the likes of Cole Palmer, you've got Rodri, who's nominated. I mean, anyone got any view on who they think is going to win it?
I think Vinicius will win it.
Hmm.
Well, I know one thing. It's not going to be Ronaldo or Messi.
No. I mean, you could make a good point for Rodri. He's dragged Man City to.
I think Timo should be in the shout.
He dragged Man City to another fantastic season last year. So if Rodri wins it, I think hats off to him.
Rodri has been brilliant. To be fair, Cole Palmer has had he was really good from halfway through last season right up until now. He's all right. There's been 1 or 2 matches he hasn't really performed in, but he's actually been very consistent from halfway through last season to now. So no, I know he won't, but he could be a dark horse. Vinny Jr. should win it. To be fair,
Yeah.
I mean he is the better, more. Rodri's a quality player. And we know what we're getting with Rodri. He puts in quality performances, and he's the linchpin in that City team that holds everything together. But the one that gets you off your seat, the one that excites you, the one that scores the worldies consistently is Vinny Jr., isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And Coach of the Year is a toughie because you've got Pep in there. You've got the guy that went
Arteta.
invincible. No, the guy that went unbeaten in Germany. What's his bloody name?
Xabi Alonso,
That's it,
ex-Liverpool
Xabi
player
Alonso.
Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you've got some tough ones for the coach of the year. Yes, AJ.
Do you mean when you say he went the season unbeaten? Do you mean really, honestly and truly unbeaten, or the Arsenal version of unbeaten?
No, really, honestly and truly unbeaten, I believe.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Like, did they get themselves a gold trophy? Did they go out and buy themselves a gold trophy for it?
Yeah, and a dog called Win. Ellie's right. Nothing good comes out of divide and conquer. Some of our fan base feel that only their opinion counts. Yeah, look, and Carlo Ancelotti, yeah. And I think, to be fair, Carlo Ancelotti might be close to retiring, so maybe you get it. But anyway, we're going to finish it there. Bless you, Wills. My son's sneezing away.
Bless you, Wills.
We're going to leave it there because Benji is only 10 minutes and a redirect has been set up, and his title has made me so excited because it's Christmas season is here, which is rather exciting indeed.
And I need
Mr.
a wee
Chang-
desperately.
Oh, lovely. Mr. Chang, when can we find you next?
I don't think I have anything in the next 48 hours apart from maybe another live watch along, although it's still not decided yet because of the late hour in which it will be held. But yeah, I really am looking forward to another live watch along. This time it's going to be a cup game, and because it's City, I'm expecting it to be quite a roller coaster of a watch along. So I really am looking forward to that. And other than that, I think I have nothing else beyond what we're going to be doing. Same time, same place on Friday. So yeah, that's just everything that I have lined up that I know of from between now to Friday. So yeah, that's about all that I have, and absolutely cannot wait for your pre-match preview for City on Wednesday night. And here's to us getting a result, or at the very least getting a respectable performance in front of the home faithful. And yeah, absolutely looking forward to our Friday preview, where we will not only have the weekend's preview, but also the post-match reaction to Wednesday night's game on Friday.
Yeah, exactly. AJ, thanks for stepping in for Big Nick. Always a pleasure. And if you're free Friday, you know your chair will still be there.
You know, life is getting busy at the moment, but you know, if you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far, boo, boo, boo. Just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause Katie, there ain't no mountain high, you know.
Someone's got these balls.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Joey Barton saying new manager special on Friday, maybe.
Yeah, for 10 half.
We might be back tomorrow. We might be back tomorrow and Wednesday. I don't know yet. Just keep the notifications on and we'll let you know. Jimbo, do you want to end the show as only you can? I think we might be on Jacobs as well Tuesday night. But Jim, let me let you hand over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give it large because I've got nothing to give it large about. But look, just get behind the team, get behind the manager. We can beat City at home. We're at home, which is a massive advantage. They only beat us 1-0 last time. So keep the faith for Wednesday, and let's hope that Ange plays the right team. And come on, you Spurs.
Exactly that. Come on, you Spurs.
Giving opinions with no regret, smashing the toppings like in the onion net. Talking the talk with Kate and Jim, and walking the walk, just listen in. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter. Mix and transfer news, it's what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jimbo always keeps a positive spin, while Kate's Mickey has a name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like Lenny stop robbing, or she's just flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match. match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match.